congratulations on this. Obviously, with the first series, you had a book to write from.
Yes.
With this one, it's a little more out there, but you've created a magnificent story in a different part of the world. So for you, what was the important thing about taking the essence of Jonathan Pine and the world he inhabits and creating and weaving an authentic but exciting story around it?
You slightly answered the question for me. It was doing all of that. But here's the thing. I mean, if you're a fan of Le Carré and stories like The Night Manager, you'll see that there's an incredible Swiss watch of a mechanic underpinning it just as a story. But then what he does so brilliantly is to create these very rich, nuanced characters, three-dimensional. I think there are a lot of thrillers that are very brilliant, but very surface. And we, in a way, created this huge challenge for ourselves by using the genius of Le Carré's portraiture, in a way, these people who are complex and none of them cliches or stereotypes, and weaving a thriller around that. So we have a double challenge, not just to tell a very good, satisfying story with all the twists and turns you'd expect from a thriller, but to have these rich characters, and those who come back, having them, as we all have over 10 years, I hope, evolved, And so Tom Hiddleston, 35, 10 years ago, 45 now, the boy, I hesitate to say, has become a man. Some of us behind the camera, if I used to be salt and pepper, I'm now more salt and pepper. And, you have to reflect that. So it's hard work because we're all very sophisticated viewers now. And you can see when someone's in a way treading water in storytelling, selling you down the river for it sort of down a blind alley, and you think, oh, that episode was pointless, and we can't afford to do that because audiences know when they're being cheated and tricked, and they're all watching 8-part series that should be 6 or 10 parts that should be 8. So we're 6, but even 6, it's 6 hours. It's tough. So you work really hard just to make every moment count, and to make sure that you're not teasing people with false trails and frustrating them. The Shaggy Dog Story version of storytelling, and that's the course of the lazy, and we can't afford to do that because we set ourselves a very high bar last time, and we'll disappoint ourselves if we fall below that, quite apart from the global public. So we hope we've crafted something that is at least as good as last time and in an ideal world better.
Because I'm old enough to remember when Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy was a TV phenomenon, and every action and every word had meaning, and this is similar in that way, in that it does grip the attention.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned the original Tinker Tailor with Alec Guinness, because that was my inspiration. If anyone said to me, why do I do what I do, why I tell the stories I tell, it's because of that. And that's how I first discovered Le Carré, in fact, through that TV series. But I don't know whether you've been back to it recently, but it's very interesting how storytelling has changed and attention spans have changed. There's one episode in that where a character played by Hal Bennett is standing on top of a fortress in Gibraltar, waiting for a meeting that doesn't happen. It's like a Tarkovsky movie. It's so slow, and you think, oh my God, you'd be shocked if you tried to tell a story like that. It's like watching paint dry. Love it as I do. And I marvel at a time when you could do that, and you can't do that now. It's like if you watch Morse, he'd drive through a gate, the car would weave down the drive, he'd stop the car, he'd get out, he'd walk to the door. I mean, I'm already boring you by describing what happened, but that's how time passed. You now just have to move like this.
No, I love that. The messages that Sir Alec Guinness could convey by just cleaning his glasses were just fabulous. But for this one, you have some locations which are almost reminiscent of James Bond, but rather than going for pizzazz, it's very much relies on three-dimensional characters and authentic emotions in possibly fairly unusual circumstances. So almost like being a master chef, how do you cook that into a satisfying result?
It's very interesting to use the master chef analogy. I had a running gag with Tom because we take multiple takes of different scenes and different shots, and with a giant smile on his face he'd say, okay, that was my paprika take, now you're going to get my tamarind take, and now my Tabasco take. So in other words, but I suppose what you want to end up with, and this is the way the directors work with actors, but having experienced it in season 1, you want to ensure, if you're me, that you're getting that range. When you get the coverage from the actors in every individual scene, you don't quite know. For example, do you want them to be scared there, tense there, confused there? It's sometimes not clear. So you want to cover a range of emotions, or at least gradations of emotions, so that when you get into the edit, you can literally, like a chef, are you gas mark 2 or gas mark 7 on that? And that's the great skill. It's what the actors offer you, and they'll give you everything if you ask for it. And then when you get to the edit, you can just play with the emotional resonance of a scene and a moment. And it's really fascinating to watch, and it's gorgeous to be, and privileged to be part of that, watching these actors strut their stuff and looking at the same lines and coming up with a completely different interpretation of it. Often one that surprises the writer, where they, I didn't intend that inflection, but it really works. You find these meanings that you don't quite know they're there when you read it. But the corollary of that too is that you'll read a script, it seems to make sense. So when you say, okay, well, that scene's ready to shoot, you shoot it and go, it doesn't make any sense at all. Why did we think that worked? And or you get into the edit, having shot a scene that felt good in the moment, and you go, oh my God, no one's going to understand why this is happening. So this endless kind of rewriting, reimagining, and I love that part of the process. I think the analogy with a chef is different, because if you fuck up a recipe early on, it's very hard to go back. But actually with us, if we compromise a recipe early on, there's still time to play with it and tweak it and often really improve it as it goes. That's, when a show is great, it's just adding up to first the sum of its parts, and then in ways you can't wholly control more than the sum of its parts. And when you see that happen, you go, wow, that scene has this impact, and you didn't see it coming. It's so exciting.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on this. I can't wait for everybody to see it.
Well, enjoy.
It's been a pleasure.
Nice to meet you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey, you guys!
Hey!